Oh boy. Another downer one for the Aliens Omnibus. We're going to be talking about Tribes. Tribes is very weird. It's one of the more unique alien stories in its formatting. As you all know, I'm a big fan of William C. Ditz's novellas called Star Wars Dark Forces. There was Soldier of the Empire, Rebel Agent, and Jedi Knight, based off of and around the first two Dark Forces games. Specifically, more the second one, and the Soldier of the Empire was a prequel to the original game. Dark Horse did this with Aliens, and they did it with a book called Tribes. So it is a novella with Dave Dorman art throughout. What is Tribes about? It's a group of elite colonial marines are sent into a space station. We're never really told who's the company involved. This is back in the day where Weyland-Yutani as like a name didn't matter all that much. They just refer to them as the company, so it could be any of them. The whole corporate angle just wasn't fleshed out at this point, so they this company was doing experiments with the xenomorphs and humans, the very inhumane things. Colonial Marine team is sent in, and they are armed with what is called a Berserker unit. This is the first time Berserkers are mentioned. They show up in a few things. What it is they take someone and they put them in unique power armor, and they can go through a xenomorph nest. Not like the power armor we saw in Genocide, but something that like it kind of alters their brain and stuff, and kind of makes them go crazy. So when you set a berserker loose, you get out of the way because they will, no pun intended, they go berserk. And so that's really it. We also, the big problem, I gotta talk about the big problem with Tribes. Tribes has way too many characters, and it's way too short to have as many characters as it does. Basically, most of them are very forgettable. Everyone's miserable. The one that sticks out in my head is Rat. Rat is the nickname of this part of the Colonial Marines group. Although she doesn't really feel like a Marine, she feels like a weird spy that goes into the nests, like xenomorph nests, as bait. But she was rescued from a horrible childhood where her dad was a cultist. If you all remember back to Earth Hive, there was a. They mentioned that there's a cult, and that's what starts the outbreak in general on Earth. That they worship the xenomorphs. Her dad, I don't know if he was part of that specific cult, but he was a part of a xenomorph worshipping cult to the point where he sacrificed her brother like he was Abraham from the Bible. It's weird and depressing. He also horribly abuses Rat. It's big and like kills her kitten, and like there's SA involved in it, incestual SA. It's horrible. It's truly horrible, and it made me gag. So, it's, she's probably my favorite character out of these because she's like the most sympathetic. There's also a guy, they kind of have a. She and this guy, he was horribly burned by xenomorph acid. He's a paraplegic now, and like he can't get it up anymore, but he's in love with Rat, and Rat's kind of in love with him, but she's been so abused. It's just a very sad romance that doesn't go anywhere. Nothing really goes anywhere other than like one of the head of the space station is kind of thinks that the xenomorphs are the Messiah. So we have a circle around of that. it's weird. It's a weird story with beautiful Dave Dorman art. And that is the only reason to read this book, is the Dave Dorman art. Dave Dorman does what he does best, which is just paint beautiful pictures. These are no Dark Forces. I was hoping we were going to get a hidden gem like the Dark Forces books. We don't. We get something weird, and it does set up Berserkers, which will become a thing. I don't even think in this omnibus. I don't think we'll get to Berserkers again until the next omnibus. But it's setting up that. That's about all it does for the overall Aliens continuity. Would I recommend this? If you're an Aliens completionist, especially with the comics, I mean, if you're going to pick up this omnibus, give it a read, don't search out this omnibus for Tribes. If you can get Tribes cheap on the secondhand market, I would go that way. If you just want Tribes. If you're a novel person and you just wanted to get this alien novella, or if you just want to read it, just Teach. The YouTube channel Teach has done an audiobook where he even showcases the art while reading. And I would recommend that over actually reading this book. It's a very short series of videos. He usually does a chapter by chapter, or close to for this. It only takes a few hours to get through. I ended up listening to most of this while putting together some fixtures in my garage. And that's how I managed to get through this, because this is bleak. This is, in my opinion, out of all the alien media I have consumed, this is the most bleak. This is like grimdark, as some people say. I would put this under grimdark science fiction. It's very bleak. I felt bad after reading it, which is not something I normally feel, because like, you gotta understand how much I read for this channel. I try not to allow myself to like have like a really like a negative feeling like that, other than if it's like a negative emotion that's going to make content in the review funny, I mentally will encourage that a teeny bit. But when something's bleak like this and you just feel sick and sad, like, I didn't cry. I'm not Star Wars Theory crying over Luke Skywalker being in the season 2 finale of Mandalorian. I didn't cry. This is Aliens Tribes. It does not deserve that. But I was sad. This book's freaking sad. I can't stress that enough. It's sad, depressing, and has some despicable subject matter in it that I didn't think was necessary. Like, all the stuff with Rat's backstory, it's a little over the top and, like, just too much. But what would I rank Tribes? It's a little under a 3 out of 5 stars. I'd probably give it like a 2.8. Like, it's just not put together well. The Dave Dorman art does boost this almost to a 3 out of 5, but like, the story itself just isn't that good. You don't remember who's who for like most of the book. It's just hard to follow. And like, you don't feel good after reading it. But this is one of the last Alien stories before we get to Alien 3. It's kind of fascinating. We've gone down a really depressing rabbit hole. I'm not saying these books are happy-go-lucky. None of them are. But, like, after Genocide, we had Hive, which is about a dude dying. We have this. And then after this, we have Newt's Tale, which is half the Newt losing her family and then a retelling of Aliens. Yeah, that's next on the table, and then we get into Alien 3, and that's when we have the weird continuity shift. We'll see what they do with the continuity, because you're looking at someone who's experiencing a lot of these comics for the first time. Sure, I was aware of tribes existing, and like I've read Newt's Tale before. Like I've read a handful of these randomly, or I know what they're about, but you gotta understand, I don't. If I do know what they're about, it's more based off of like the novels rather than the comics. And the novels are not mainly novelizations of these comics. They change the timeline and they change a lot of things to try to make them make sense, except for Alien Harvest. But we'll get to that later. So just bear with me here, because I'm going to be experiencing a lot of these for the first time with y'all. So anyway, have a nice day.